then there are specific things that has been mentioned, but you have to consider. And the teaching context, the teachers and the institutions. The teachers, of course, the expertise, this knowledge, and then the conceptions of learning, all these things are important. And the institution, from the institution side, curriculum, method, assessments, and rules are important. And then you continue, you design your activities and it goes on, and finally you achieve your learning outcomes. So I'll take my sample. So I took the BSc Social Sciences degree. It's a 3-year general degree. So the subject is fundamental of management. So this study is based on 6 stages. So the first stage has already completed. There are another 5 stages coming ahead now in the second stage, but I'm present in the first stage results. So this the subject I'm doing management. I introduce all this. The study is basically based on this subject. So it's a field compulsory subject. We have it's a field compulsory subject. 4 GPAs given, and 50 theory hours and tutorial 30 hours. The students' strength is 25. All are only one field student is there, and 24 students are cadet officers. And then the duration was 20 weeks. So likewise, so I divided the main curriculum of my subject, or the fundamentals of management, into 2 basic categories. One is my theory class, and other one is my tutorial class. In the theory class, the theory class mainly, the 50 hours is already given for the theory class. So theory class, when I using this constructive alignment, the intended learning outcome, or the final expectation is imparting the knowledge, the theoretical knowledge for the students. And when designing the teaching learning activities and the assessment task, assessment task, 70% has been given for the, especially for the only one assessment, main assessment is there, that is the final examination. So the 70 marks has been given for that. And then when designing the teaching and learning activities, the main focus has been given to, lectures. The main focus is, the face-to-face, not discussions actually. Sometimes discussions were there, but most of the cases, lectures were conducted. And that the classroom environment more, it's like teacher-centered rather than student-centered, because that the intended learning outcome or the expectation is just to impart the theoretical knowledge within this 50 hours time. And then when we talk about the mini or the supportive curriculum, that is my tutorial class, 30 hours, but in practice, I think last semester or last 20 weeks, I used more than 30 hours. Because I wanted to cover certain things, certain activities. That's why I took more than 30 hours. And within that 30 hours, my this constructive alignment, or the teaching learning activities, as well as intended learning outcomes and the assessment tasks. Main outcomes were, I wanted to emphasize, I wanted to improve their soft skills, the creativity, the teamwork and the entrepreneurial skills, decision-making skills, all these things I mainly focused. And then teaching learning activities, different things I introduced to the class. Not only like, lectures I did not, sometimes discussions were there, but not like teacher-centered one, but student-centered discussions and some different activities, variety of activities I used. Sometimes fishbowl activities, and sometimes, poster sessions, sometimes, case studies, all these, the final, because I wanted to improve their skills as well as the application of the knowledge, as well as the positive attitudes of the students. So the assessments, mainly, I had this. Assessment, so this is my the 30 hours tutorial class. 3 types of assessments were there. Classroom test, 5 marks. I know this mini curriculum contains only 30 marks. 5 marks given for the classroom test, and assignments 10, and presentation 15. So my learning outcomes, you can see, the knowledge in a sense here, the application of the knowledge and the academic skills, and then the general skills out of them. You can see that what are the general skills, and then the positive attitudes. So I did this, this assessment based on 3 phases. First one, second one, and third one. First one, all these tasks were mainly based on small group work, right? And individual work is there when it comes to classroom test, but minimum number of individual work, but the majority was small group work. So the phase one, I divide the entire class into small groups. In a group, 5 members were there, and then that was randomly I selected. But in the phase two, based on the phase one results, within this thing, I formed, based on the results of the first phase, I divided the second phase groups, and likewise it went on. So you can see the presentation of the data. Classroom test, first phase, you can see the average mark of the student, and I got the student feedback. So they refuse sometimes when I introduce in this classroom test, and then some complaints were there because they did not have time to do their studies. And then I observed personally that they were really lethargic, sleeping, less committed, so likewise. But when it comes to second phase, right, so their average mark was quite improved, and they preferred, but they wanted some time to engage in studies before giving the test. And also the observation I observed, they get used to the system, this as a new assessment system, and they effectively learn the things. That was quite good. And then the third phase, they preferred, and also they become, among the groups there was a competition, and also they demand more tests because they enjoyed that. And then when it comes to observation, active learning, group cohesiveness, so all these things I noticed that. So likewise, assignments, presentations, everything was, you can see. So analysis mentioned students preferred more presentations, more assignments, less classroom tests. You can see how it was there. So the suggestions. So the fostering creative in a student as a part of lecture. I think the blame, when the students leave, we can't always blame the students. We have we have a role. We need to change. Systems can't be changed. The students also have so many difficulties. So as a teacher, as a lecturer, I think we have to change, and we have to think in different ways of imparting the knowledge or improving their skills and abilities. So the new assessment, why we can't change this assessment criteria. So our assessment criteria is a final examination, 70 marks, and 30 marks for the mini curriculum, or the main curriculum, 70 marks. Why we can change this into 50% or 50%, or something like 40% or 60%, sorry, something like that. So we need to think about that as well. So when it comes to the final, or the last slide, or summing up, if we are successful at preparing students who think creatively and use their imaginations to dream up solutions to the problem, they become more effective and active in their learnings. They don't sleep. They don't have time to sleep because they are involved in any activity. Leaders are people who ignite change, and by change, something that propels existing goals and actions to realize it. Students, graduates become really competitive and productive. And also the students as well as lecturers, finally, end of the day, will enjoy the class. So these are the references. Thank you very much.